Hello everyone, dear students. Welcome back once again on set of online class and even best wishes for being promoted in new class. I hope you all will do more better than your previous class and be in touch with us and have continuity in your work. So let us begin with our teaching and learning part. So first of all, let me introduce you to the text. Okay, so first we will see which two text we are going to have in our English. Okay, so let us see that thing. So dear students, we are going to have a text named Beehive for class 9th, which is an NCRT book. Okay, and totally there are 11 chapters in this textbook. So this is the text part of your. Beside that, one more book we are going to have, that is a rapid reader, and the name of that text is Moments. Okay, so in that you are going to have stories and all that. These are the contents for this textbook. Okay, and the first chapter which we are going to have today is the fun they had. And beside this 11th chapter, apart we are going to have some poems also after each and every chapter. So let us begin with the first chapter which we are going to start today. Okay, so this is the first chapter, chapter 1, the fun they had. Okay, and this chapter talks about the time, which is the story which is set in the future. Okay, which is I think 2157, means the year which we are living now, from year this year, the time from now till that time. So you may imagine or you may calculate what difference may be at that time. So this story is set in future. The author here want to say that at that time in future, in the year 2157, there will be no books, no schools. Okay, these two things will not exist. Everything will be digital. The teachers will be no manual teacher, they will be mechanical teacher. And how children will study at that time, and for them books, the school which you are having now, the time which you are, this class, online class which is going now, it is just a substitute, एक option निकाला गया है just because of the condition which is going on now. Otherwise you people go to school, you people are having books with you, है ना. तो ऑनलाइन क्लास तो सिर्फ कंडीशंस के अकॉर्डिंग हम प्रिफर करें, लेकिन एट दैट टाइम इन फ्यूचर दिस थिंग विल बी एज अ स्कूल. वो मेन स्कूल उस समय ये रहेगी जब एक क्लास स्कूल ना होकर बच्चे सारे कंप्यूटर से ही पढ़ेंगे. दे विल हैव नो मैनुअल टीचर, दे विल हैव मैकेनिकल टीचर्स. So this chapter is related to that thing. Okay, it is intimating the time of the future. So now here you could see schools of the future. What kind of schools we are going to have at that time? The people of that time will have, the children, the students will have such kind of school at that time. First thing that they will learn through computers, you could see here. Okay, there will be virtual classroom, means the school will be at their home. उनके घर में होगा, एक रूम होगा, not a school as a building, clear, which you are having now. No teachers will be there, there will be robotic teachers. Okay, you could see there. And moving e-text means the textbooks which you are having now is a book, isn't? You can turn and flip the pages, all that. And e-text means सब कुछ होगा, वो सब स्क्रीन पे होगा, सब कुछ उस कंप्यूटर में ऑलरेडी फीडेड हो गया. यू डोंट हैव टू स्टोर और you don't have to have such books which you are having now at that time. Okay, so that moving e-text means whatever you want you could get on that screen, on that computer. So this will be the school in the future at that time. So this story is also set in that time, मतलब उस समय में इस स्टोरी को सेट किया गया है. सो व्हाट दिस characters in this story feel when they get a book, when the child found a book, what was his reaction towards it. So this thing we are going to see here. Okay, so let us see then. Now two questions are asked here, that what three things which you like the best in your school. तो सबसे अच्छा तो most student enjoy studying, coming to school and all that. Some people enjoy sports, इजंट कुछ बच्चे स्पोर्ट्स इंजॉय करते हैं, किसी को म्यूज़िक क्लास अच्छी लगती है, किसी को ड्राइंग क्लास अच्छी लगती है. तो देर आर मैनी ऑप्शंस टू इंजॉय, टू हैव फन इन द स्कूल besides studies also. Okay, and here he is asking that what three things which you like most in your school and which three things which you hate about your school. Okay, you don't have to write them down, just discuss to yourself, to your own. Have you ever read words on a television or computer screen? I think everybody is known to computers, सबको ही पता है. So I think this question is not new to you people. Now let us start with the chapter now. There are two characters here in this story. First is Margie, okay, and second is Tommy. Now Margie, she has the habit of writing diary. So one day she sat and she was writing a diary. I would say one day she sits, okay, because the story is set in future. तो वो डायरी लिखने बैठती है और what she writes in her diary. On the page headed means what is the date which she mentions there, that is 17 May 2157 है ना. तो ये डेट वो मेंशन करती है, तो आप ईयर देख सकते हो, यानी अब से कितने सालों बाद, अप्रॉक्सीमेट आई थिंक 150 ईयर्स के अबव, है ना. तो शी रोट टुडे टॉमी फाउंड अ रियल book. So Tommy is a boy of 13 and he finds a real book and he shows it to Margie. So this girl, she finds very strange to see that book. So for her it is really a very new thing, a very weird thing. So she writes this thing in her diary कि Tommy को आज एक book मिली, because she had never seen a book before. It was a very old book, काफ़ी पुरानी बुक थी वो. एंड मार्जीज ग्रैंडफादर ने एक बार उससे कहा ज़रूर था डैट व्हेन ही वॉज अ लिटिल बॉय, जब उसके ग्रैंडफादर छोटे थे, उस ग्रैंडफादर्स ग्रैंडफादर, ठीक है, उस ग्रैंडफादर के ग्रैंडफादर, ओके. तो हिज ग्रैंडफादर told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. मीन्स उसके दादाजी ने उसके दादाजी को कहा था कि मार्जी के दादाजी को कहा था डैट इन आर टाइम, मीन्स जब हमारा टाइम जो अभी चल रहा है, इन आर टाइम वी वर हैविंग बुक्स, एवरीथिंग वॉज प्रिंटेड ऑन इट, मीन्स नथिंग वॉज देयर और लाइक डिजिटल स्क्रीन, डिजिटल ये सब अभी आया है ना. So there was a time when we used to study in school. At that time even we very rarely prefer computers and all that. They turned the pages which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, you know. So they turned the pages which were yellow and crinkly, means the book which Tommy found. Okay, she's discussing about the book which his grandfather have at that time. So she said that the book which he got, they turned the pages, when they turned the pages which were yellow, यानी वो बुक काफ़ी पुरानी थी जो टॉमी को मिली थी, एंड क्रिंकली मतलब क्रश्ड, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, you know. तो crinkly means when it folds on that, awfully means greatly, कुछ ज़्यादा ही, ठीक है. तो she says that it was really awfully funny, बहुत ही अजीब सी बात है, that the words don't move, जो वर्ड्स है वो मूव नहीं करते, दे स्टूड स्टिल, डिडंट मूव, ओके. यानी वो वर्ड्स जो है वो जैसे हम कंप्यूटर पर देखते हैं, वॉट एवर वी नीड वी जस्ट क्लिक एंड वी टर्न टू अनदर पेज, ओके, अगेन अनदर पेज. एंड फॉर रीडिंग द बुक्स इन दोज डेज दे हैव टू टर्न द पेजेस, और जो वर्ड्स थे वो वहीं पर रहते थे, वो मूव नहीं होते थे. हम वर्ड्स को मूव भी कर सकते हैं कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन में, इजंट, और वो टेक्स्ट बुक में पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो वो कहती है कि द वर्ड स्टूड स्टिल इंस्टेड ऑफ मूविंग द वे दे वर सपोज टू ऑन अ स्क्रीन, यू नो. जैसा स्क्रीन पर होता है वैसा बुक में नहीं होता है. and then when they turned back to the page before it, it had the same words on it that it had had when they read it the first time. मतलब ये कि whenever you will flip the page, the same thing you will see it is still there only, isn't it? And in computer, when you click, what happens? New pages will come. तो अगर आपने वो बुक पढ़ ली है तो वापस उसको टच करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. वॉट एवर पेज यू नीड यू कैन डायरेक्टली क्लिक टू इट. बट टेक्स्ट बुक में ऐसा नहीं है, आपको जो मैटर चाहिए आपको उसी पेज पर जाना पड़ता है. तो ये बात उसको बहुत अजीब लगती है. ओके, सो दिस थिंग्स हिज हर ग्रैंड फादर टोल्ड हर. नाउ व्हेन टॉमी heard all these things about the book, he says की means not dislike, अजीब सा लगना. ओके, expressing surprise. Said Tommy, what a waste. Now when Tommy heard all this thing about the book, the description about the book, so he says what such a surprising thing for him. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away. I guess means once you read the book, you have to throw it away because next time it is not used in your next session, isn't? अब जो 8th में है वो आप 9th में वापस यूज़ नहीं करोगे, उसके लिए आपको नई बुक खरीदनी पड़ेगी. बट व्हेन यू गो थ्रू कंप्यूटर, what you can find all kind of million books over there. You don't have to throw anything over there. So Tommy here says, I guess our television screen must have had a million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. So according to Tommy, here he is comparing the book with the e-text, e-books, okay, computer books. So he thinks that e-books, e-text are much better than these books of pages. I wouldn't throw it away. हम उसको थोड़ी फेंकेंगे. तो he says that I wouldn't throw the books, millions of books which are there on the screen. Margie says, same with mine. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. So here you could see Margie is of 11, okay, and she hadn't seen many telebooks, but Tommy had because he was of 13. She said, where did you find it? So when she saw the book which Tommy was having in his hand, she said कि तुमको ये बुक कहाँ से मिली? तो he said, in my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy reading in the attic. Pointing यानी वो अपने सिर्फ हाथ के इशारे से करके बताता है कि मुझे बुक वो वहाँ से मिली. इन द एटिक, एटिक का मतलब एक शेल्फ होता है जहाँ पर सारा हम सीलिंग से एक शेल्फ होता है जहाँ हम अपना सारा सामान रखते हैं जो बहुत रेयरली काम आता है ना. तो ही फाउंड दैट book from the attic. So you could see a space which is below the roof as a storeroom, which we use as a storeroom. What's it about? School. तो वो पूछती है कि ये बुक किसकी है. तो वो कहता है इस बुक में किसके बारे में लिखा हुआ है? स्कूल के बारे में. So when she heard this word school, okay, जब उसने ये वर्ड सुना स्कूल तो उसको बहुत अजीब लगा because she don't like school, she hated school. So Margie was scornful. Scornful means contemptuous, means showing dislike. ठीक है, अपने किसी चीज़ के प्रति dislike शो करना. She hated school. She said, school? What's there to write about school? I hate school. तो वो कहती स्कूल. स्कूल कोई टॉपिक है जिसके बारे में कुछ लिखा जाए? Because she hadn't seen the school which we are having now, which you are having now, okay, and she had never heard about it except his grandfather had told him. So she thinks that the school which she is having at that time, she imagines that one, okay, so she feels very awkward when she heard about this word school. Margie always hated school. Okay, now that till here we read about the school, द बुक्स. ओके, अब तक हमने ये पढ़ा कि टॉमी को कैसे बुक मिलती है, कैसे उसके ग्रैंडफादर मार्जी के ग्रैंडफादर उसको डिस्क्राइब करते हैं बुक्स के बारे में. अब हम पढ़ेंगे, वी आर गोइंग टू रीड दैट वाई मार्जी हेटेड स्कूल. What was the reason behind it? That when she heard this word school, she felt very surprised. Okay, awful. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. Now she always hated school. उसको शुरू से ही स्कूल पसंद नहीं थी. But nowadays she was feeling more hatred towards it. Okay, यानी अभी अभी उसको थोड़ी सी और ज़्यादा वो हेट करने लगी थी स्कूल को. क्यों? Why? The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography. यानी मैकेनिकल टीचर जो कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन होती है जिसके ऊपर सारा वर्क आता है ना, कंप्यूटर, तो वो उसको रोज़ टेस्ट दे रहा था. और किस में? ज्योग्राफी में. शी हैड बीन डूइंग वर्स एंड वर्स. वर्स यानी बदतर से बदतर. ओके, बुरे से बुरा. तो वो इस सब्जेक्ट में दिन ब दिन she was doing bad. Okay, her performance was not good in geography test until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. And when her mother saw that she is not doing better, she is not doing good in geography sector, so what she did, at last she shaken her head sorrowfully, यानी आखिर में उन्होंने अपना सिर हिलाया कि अब तो काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर इज़ द पर्सन, अ मैकेनिक हु रिपेयर्स कंप्यूटर. ओके, तो शी सेंड फॉर द काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर, मतलब उन्होंने काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर को उस कंप्यूटर की रिपेयरिंग के लिए बुलाया. ओके, सो नाउ हियर इज द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ दैट county inspector. Okay, the mechanic who came to repair that computer, the mechanical teacher. Okay, now this person was round little man with red face and whole box of tools with dials and wires. It means that man who came to repair the computer, he was a round little man. He was not so good in height, okay, with a red face, and he was having a tool box, okay, जिसके अंदर बहुत सारे वायर्स और टूल्स थे जिससे वो रिपेयर करते हैं कंप्यूटर. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple when he entered to repair that computer. He smiled at her, he gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. फिर उस मैकेनिकल टीचर को वो रिपेयर करने लगा. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right, and after an hour so there it was again. It means Margie ने सोचा कि काश इनको रिपेयर करना ना आए, so that she won't have to study on that computer. वो यही सोच रही थी. But that county inspector, what he did, he put it together again, यानी उसने वापस उसको रिपेयर कर लिया. ओके, और वापस जॉइंट कर लिया जो भी पार्ट्स थे उसके. एंड ही न्यू हाउ ऑल राइट, यानी ही न्यू वेरी वेल टू रिपेयर दैट थिंग. एंड आफ्टर एन आवर मीन्स विद इन एन आवर ही हैड रिपेयर दैट थिंग, एंड देन दैट कंप्यूटर वॉज रेडी अगेन. दैट मैकेनिकल टीचर वॉज रेडी अगेन. Large and black and ugly with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. So this thing was a description of the county inspector. Okay, and this thing, large, black and ugly with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked, it is about the mechanical teacher, that is the computer. Okay, तो ये डिस्क्रिप्शन किसका है? मैकेनिकल टीचर का, कंप्यूटर का. एंड दिस इज़ अबाउट द काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर. So this is the thing which she don't like. Now the part what Margie hated the most, that wasn't so bad. What part Margie hated the most in her mechanical teacher? She hated the most was the slot. Okay, the slot is the space. एक जगह दी जाती है in that on that screen where you have to submit the work. The space, we could say a time, okay, or position, कोई जगह देना, space given, where she had to put her homework and test papers. She always had to write them out in a punch code. Punch code is a kind of language which is used for submitting, for doing your work on computer. So to punch code मतलब whole, these are kind of whole signals. They and this punch code language she had been made learn when she was 6 year old. जब वो 6 साल की थी तभी उसको ये सिखा दिया गया था पंच कोड और कैसे सबमिट करना है वर्क स्लॉट, गिवन स्लॉट में. द मैकेनिकल टीचर कैलकुलेटेड द मार्क्स इन नो टाइम. मीन्स जब उसने द टाइम व्हेन शी सबमिट हर होमवर्क, द टेस्ट पेपर, एंड एट द सेम टाइम द मैकेनिकल टीचर यूज टू कैलकुलेट इट विद इन नो टाइम. ठीक है, यानी तुरंत ही, in no time. So this thing she hated the most, that where she had to put the homework and test papers, she had to write them out in a punch code, and she was this thing which she hated the most in that school, in that mechanical teacher. Okay, now when she was this is about her with the thing which she hated. Now, when she was thinking all this about the mechanic teacher who had completed his repairing and all thing, then he said, the inspector had smiled, and after he was finished, he patted Margie's head. Margie patted मतलब सिर पर थपथपाया, प्यार से कोई थपथपाते हैं वैसे. And he said to her mother, Miss the county inspector talked to Margie's mother, it's not the little girl's fault. यानी उसकी मार्जी की मदर ने काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर को कहा होगा कि शी इज़ नॉट डूइंग वेल इन ज्योग्राफी बिकॉज कंटिन्यूसली टेस्ट दिए जा रहे थे उसको. तो द मैकेनिकल टीचर द काउंटी इंस्पेक्टर कन्विंस हर मदर कि ये उसकी गलती नहीं है. द फॉल्ट वॉज ऑफ दैट कंप्यूटर बिकॉज उसमें जो सेट कर रखा था वर्क, ओके, द ज्योग्राफी सेक्टर जो उसमें सेट कर रखा था वो उसके लेवल से थोड़ा ज़्यादा था, फास्ट था. ओके, यू कुड सी हियर द ज्योग्राफी सेक्टर वॉज गियर्ड अ लिटिल टू क्विक, यानी उसके एज के अकॉर्डिंग या उसके एवरेज लेवल के अकॉर्डिंग वो थोड़ा सा फास्ट था, क्विक था, उसके स्टैंडर्ड या लेवल के अकॉर्डिंग. दोज थिंग हैपन सम टाइम, और कभी कभी ऐसा हो जाता है बिकॉज आफ्टर ऑल इट इज़ अ मशीन. आई हैव स्लोड इट अप टू एन एवरेज 10-year लेवल. तो कहता है मैंने इसकी स्पीड कम कर दी है उसके स्टैंडर्ड के अकॉर्डिंग, उसके लेवल के अकॉर्डिंग. द ओवरऑल पैटर्न ऑफ अ प्रोग्रेस इज़ क्वाइट सेटिस्फैक्ट्री. और फिर वो कहता है कि इसका जो वर्क है मार्जी इज़ डूइंग क्वाइट सेटिस्फैक्ट्री, हर परफॉर्मेंस इज क्वाइट सेटिस्फैक्ट्री. एंड ही पैटेड मार्जीज हैड अगेन, और फिर से वो उसके सिर पर थपथपा कर वहाँ से चला जाता है. ओके, सो this is the first part of this chapter. Second part we are going to do in our next video. So I'll giving some questions related to the part which we have done now. So try to solve it in your notes book. Okay, so do it on time. The next part we are going to do in our next class. Okay, thank you.